It is hot. We've been blasting AC at home because Axel is always too hot, so now I got outside and it's very steamy. I'm super excited to start working on the furniture in this workshop, and the first thing I want to build is workbenches. These workbenches will be quite stationary, and they will live in this corner right here. And I also want to have some floating shelves right here just to add some more storage. Here's a better view of the corner where I'm going to be building this workbench. So it will go from here, 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 all the way to that door. So basically it will sit in between the doors and the shelves will be just on top of that. I'll attempt to build this. I bought lots of wood for these workbenches. I'll be building 2 workbenches and they will sit, at the corner to each other. My skills are very limited, so I just want to build the most basic thing I can and just make use of that. I'm actually nervous about this project because I'll be working with really thick wood and really thick screws. Look at the size of these. I'm a bit terrified, but let's see how it goes. I started with the workbench legs. Of course, I had to refer to my notes for the lengths that I decided prior. Then I had to double cut them because they were so thick, so I used the circular saw and then the Japanese saw to finish it off. And then I had a whole full stack of 6 legs ready. Then I cut out the notches. Every leg had 2 notches. Whenever I watch any YouTube video, this part is the most satisfying one, but just like with everything, in the beginning, I did not understand how the heck to make it satisfying. It was just a lot of effort. Using the chisel was not that easy in the beginning. I still managed to scoop everything out, but some parts were really tough, so I had to use this whatever tool is called, but this one was really good for the branches. But then later on I actually got better, and here I can definitely start seeing what it's all about, and yeah, just that sound of breaking wood is great, and using the chisel became a bit easier. I got more confident, and yeah, you can see me just enjoying breaking off this wood. It's just so satisfying to hear it break. And then the notches were done. Hello, this is the next day and I'm back here. Yesterday while I was working, I just thought this is so amazing to have a dedicated space for doing all this work, and having a table dedicated for cutting wood is a game changer. It used to be quite tough to find a spot to cut things. Like, I would randomly cut wood on the steps or on the terrace. Nothing is comfortable, nothing goes well. It's amazing to have the space so I can get a bit dusty and it's fine. And I have all my tools here. Yeah, I can just keep all the tools here, and I don't need to tidy up excessively at the end of the day to put everything back. It can just stay here. I can already feel the benefits of having a workshop. Yesterday I really enjoyed cutting these notches in the wood, and today I'll start by sanding the edges slightly, and then I'll see what the next steps are, but I think it's assembly of the table. I started the day by finishing the legs and the notches, making sure that it's nicely sanded and there are no rough edges. Then I cut the rest of the parts for the table assembly. I spent a surprising amount of time just sanding different parts of the table. It takes a while. Here I'm starting to assemble the table, but I have no clue what I'm doing. Then I started clamping things just so that I'm progressing somehow. So here I decided that I'll start pre-drilling the holes. Oops, that came out. Each hole became easier and easier to pre-drill, but yeah, even drilling sometimes can be challenging. I did the same thing for the bottom part and I pre-drilled holes here as well. Now that I actually put it together, I'm thinking that this is way too tall. I need to fix that. I will fix it by basically cutting off the top and then creating new notches here. I thought the taller the better, obviously, but now that I'm looking at it, it's just not. It's not good. So I cut off the legs and definitely the height was much better this way. Then I built the second half of the legs and cut these short bits that would join the two parts together. Then sanded the edges just to make sure that they are the same length. They did seem to be the same length for me. Here I pre-drilled the holes in these small bits, but later on I realized that I definitely did not need to do this. Again, some more sanding to do. I glued the different parts together before screwing them in. I could have used way more glue, but now I know. But then I thought I'm using plenty. Just clamped everything together. Did the same thing for the bottom part. Some precision work here. More clamping. Here I'm just questioning everything, how am I going to install it? I have a surprising amount of footage where I'm just standing like this, not moving. Figuring out the screws was a bit of work as well, because I have never used these kind of screws before, and this kind of tool as well, a ratchet tool. And yeah, I just could not figure out how to do this, and yep, I checked it, nothing's happening. Then I started adding that joining part, and I actually realized that I need to put quite a bit of pressure so that the screw actually catches on and gets installed, basically. Yeah, I got quite surprised that the first screw went in. Yeah, and then again, with every screw it became easier and easier. Finally figured out that I can use the tool like this, so I don't have to put on so much pressure in it. And here's the first bench frame done. I also did the same for the second bench as well. For a change of scenery, I wanted to work on something in the garden today, so I'll be continuing to cut the bushes in front of the house. Well, I'm saying bushes, but actually these are already pretty decent sized trees. We've marked the trees that we wanna keep with this tape. I don't think I'll be cutting new trees today, but I wanna tidy up the mess that I've made in the past. Almost stepped on this bad boy. So a bit of the house started being visible through these bushes when you come up the house, and I just thought that it doesn't look that exciting from here. So I had an idea. I actually want to add some plants at the top balcony. I got loads of plants, so now I need to repot them and hopefully I can arrange them to look nice upstairs. It's another day and I want to finish this project today. I hope to make the worktop here and use that worktop to connect the two frames, and then I want to make this shelf so that there is some storage space. I'm a bit nervous about this part because if I mess it up, it will be very visible. I wasn't sure how to start making the cutouts, so I just thought, you know what, I'll just start by measuring things, and I just measured things. Then I was brave enough to start actually marking what I'm going to cut. Not very certain what I'm doing, but I thought I'll just give it a go. I of course had to cut off the worktop to the length and then started making the cutouts, which was pretty easy to do. You know what they say, once you have a hammer, everything's a nail, so I just learned this technique to kind of make notches, and I use the same technique here as well. Not sure if it's the best method here, but I just do what I know. Okay, let's see if it fits. I'd have my doubts. Nope. Second attempt. What is not fitting here? What is wrong? What is wrong? Test 3. Oh, very happy. Very happy. I again sanded the edges so that it's nice and smooth. I pre-drilled the holes to fasten the shelf and then screwed the screws in. The shelf finally was in. I was very happy with the result actually. I'm now just trying to see what the worktop will look like. I'm thinking of just cutting the ends off right here. Screw the worktop in and I'm done here. I have a dilemma because obviously not a single corner in this workshop is 90 degrees, which is expected of an old house. I have two options how to fit the worktop. I can either fit it so that it matches the lines of the walls. So then there's a tiny gap between the table and the wall, which I like. Or I would install the worktop along the lines of the tables themselves. Then the gaps would be slightly different depending on where it is right here. I'm thinking of actually just installing it by the wall dimensions. Kind of so that it feels a bit more fitted. I don't know what to do. What do I do? I do not know. Alright, I'm decided to go with a flush look rather than the tables themselves being perfect and whatever. The workbench slash work table slash our cabinetry is done. It went actually not too bad, which I'm very surprised by. I can definitely see some areas where it could have gone better, but I think for the first piece of furniture that I built, I am pretty proud of it. Very sturdy. Like, it's not moving anywhere.